Hey Cam followers, we're back again. It's another audio with the lovely Dr. Katie Friel-Russell. As said many times, we're really lucky to have this lady with us talking about behavioural aspects of pain. Today we're going to talk about something that I see a lot. I see it so much, and it's really quite a challenging conversation to have with the owner. So we're going to use a little case study that I've been managing recently. So this dog is probably around about 6-7 years old and very much loved, but quite significant musculoskeletal and neuropathic pain. So this dog has got lumbosacral disease as well as painful hips, and the dog still has behaviours that logically will make that pain worse. So the dog bolts up and down the stairs and runs to the front window when the postman is there or anybody walking past the window. That dog bolts out of nowhere and is bouncing up and down on those back legs, up at the window, up at the window, up at the window. And I know, because I can hardly touch this dog's back end without them absolutely melting in panic. And we know from imaging that there is disease there, but the dog will continue to do these behaviours to the point that we're now struggling to control it medically. What's that about?
So it's a really good example. We see so many of these dogs will really charge at windows and doors to really bark and say, get out of here. And the postman is one of the it's almost, you see in cartoons all the time, the dog chasing after the postman. It's something that everybody expects dogs to do, but it's because it's such an easy pattern for them to learn. The postman comes, the dog barks, usually initially out of shock and sometimes some anxiety. They're like, oh, what's that? Especially if they're sleeping under the post box and something hits them on the head, and they bark, and then the postman scurries off. And their barking was so successful. They go, look, I made him go away. That was great. Yeah. And that pattern happens, 6 days out of every 7, happens so successfully every single time that it becomes this conditioned behaviour that the dog genuinely thinks the only way the postman's going to go away is if they bark. Yeah. And so if that's your drive and you're saying, well, I've got to tell him to go away, he can't hang around forever, we've got to get rid of him, I've got to go and bark.
And do they get then like a positive surge of success, which is quite a powerful, almost addictive feeling? Who was I talking to? It was somebody the other day that said, oh no, I heard it on the news. It was a footballer who said, I can't tell you the buzz I get from scoring a goal, and that buzz will stay with me for at least another 2-3 minutes as the game continues. That feeling is just fantastic, and that's why I play football. And I was like, whoa, so real to what we deal with.
Yeah. So with these dogs, they can form the same behaviour pattern can be formed from a few different ways. So it will initially be emotionally driven. So usually through anxiety, and then that buzz afterwards for those ones is relief. And relief is one of the biggest reinforcers you can imagine. When you finally go, thank God he's gone, that is just the best feeling. If you've been worried and all morning you've been going, oh no, he's going to come, and he's here, I've got to tell him to get away, and then thank goodness he's gone. So for those dogs, that relief is what gets them going each time, because they go, I've got to get rid of him, and then absolutely a high from relief. It's hugely reinforcing.
So, but what about the fact that the dog was in pain? And I can't express how painful it was. So this dog was already on a non-steroidal, a gabapentin, paracetamol, and we weren't winning. Why would a dog do that, even though it was causing significant pain? So CAM followers, lumbosacral disease is a syndrome. So there's a number of different presentations where there is impingement on what's called the cauda equina, which is the terminal part of the spine, and the spinal nerves that are supplying the hind legs. So this is pinched nerves for you and I. They're painful, really painful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if the dog is one of these emotionally driven ones, then that's where that anticipation, so waiting for the postman to come, that's where we get all those neurochemicals buzzing, and almost the pain is you're in a different place. All you're thinking about is the postman. And then the extreme pain that comes when you're actually jumping up, instead of that being related to you jumping up, it is related to the postman. Right. Every time I see that blooming postman, my back and my legs are screaming in pain. So tomorrow, I'm going to make sure I tell him to go even faster.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm going to charge even faster down those stairs, and I'm going to shout at him to get away. But then that hurts even more. And so we just get into this cycle of the stimulus, the postman, makes the behavior worse, because he for the dog, he is the cause of the pain. Right. And then behavior, which is the jumping up, makes the pain worse because it's really painful, and then they link it to the stimulus. Right. So it's just this non-stop cycle of postman equals pain, so I have to tell him to get away, but me telling him to get away makes me painful, which I link to the postman.
See, yeah, and I do see that a lot, and I see other examples are pigeons in the garden or squirrels on the wall, and these are dogs that have become almost compulsive about chasing them away. And I'm saying to the owner, no, that's not pleasure. The dog's not getting a huge, because that's what I get told by them, is he loves chasing the pigeons, away from the garden, or he loves getting the squirrels out the garden. And for me, trying to control pain, I'm like, doesn't work for me. I'm never going to get on top of the musculoskeletal neuropathic pain.
Yeah. So for those ones, sorry, it's we have the emotionally driven ones, which are usually things like your postman, but then we also sometimes for the postman, and particularly for things like your squirrels and stuff, we also have the ones where they've become habitual. So they're a habit, because I do this and this happens, but there's actually no real emotion involved. Right. And you see that a lot with your squirrel chasing and things, that some dogs it will be emotion, but it's quite rare. A lot of them, they bark and they chase the pigeon flies off, and before the pigeon's even 2 foot in the air, the dog is back down just doing normal things and sniffing the ground. Yeah. You can't have an emotion and then just switch it off like that, because the squirrel or the pigeon just popped off. Yeah. And when it's habitual, again, so this is just it's conditioned, and it's like a reflex, which is much easier for us to comprehend, because even when there's pain there, you will still do a normal reflex. Kind of the easiest analogy for us is, when you crick your neck and it's really sort of woken up and you go, oh God, I can't turn my head at all. Then you get in your car and you go to work. And even just pulling off the driver off the street the first time, you swing your head all the way around, because you are conditioned that when you get there, you swing your head around. You don't do that cautious little turn. You swing your head and then scream in pain because it hurts so much. And you're not thinking, oh, I know that will really hurt. And our dogs aren't either. No, but so explain to the followers that I can totally relate to that. I can remember when I've got a twisted neck, and you say you're getting in the car to drive to work and you're trying to look the other way to see if there's any cars coming, and the pain immediately happens. So I go, I don't want to look that way again. I know it's a reflex, but I do very quickly go, I might not need to be driving. Dogs will obviously have that pain, that acute pain feeling, but they will still keep doing the behaviours. Why is that? Well, again, I totally agree. And when you have cricked your neck, it probably is best for you not to be driving too much. But very quickly, even with our, we are superior intelligent compared to our dogs. Even with that understanding, you will still do it repeatedly throughout the day. You won't never make it hurt until it goes away. You will regularly hurt it. and you can understand that if you turn that way. So you might guard it a bit, you know, I will kind of turn my head slowly, and then if someone shouts my name from behind me, I'll turn around really quick and go, oh God, that really hurt.
Yeah.
And I knew that that was going to hurt. I'm much more intelligent than my dog, and I still do that same thing. So
Yeah.
the dogs, even when it's not emotionally driven, but a lot of these cases are that, you know, the first ones talking about the postman, a lot of them are that emotionally driven, and they're stuck in that cycle of pain and fear, fear of the pain, going round and round. But some of them will be habitual, where they're just practicing the behaviour, and even though the pain is there, they're still not connecting it enough, because it's just a practiced, conditioned response that you go, if someone says my name, I turn around. I don't think, oh, I hurt my neck earlier, and so if I turn, that's going to hurt. I don't have time to have that thought. I just turn my head.
And so these habitual behaviours, they can form very strong and very quick. I'm very aware with my collie to try and make sure I don't encourage repetitive behaviour patterns, because I know she'll take them on board. You know, she's like a sponge. But why do they form so quickly? Is there like a scientific-y kind of explanation? Is there a specific endocrine, like a neurochemical that is just enforces them really quickly?
It's more like that. Just if it's predictable, then the emotion can just kind of go out of it very quickly, and so they don't have to think about it anymore. And so, like you're talking about your colleagues with the sponges, they're so intelligent that if they learn that this happens and this happens, it's much quicker to get there as a reflex. You know, you're not having to go all the way up, think about what should I do next and what's going to be the outcome, and think about it like that. And so we see these absolutely happen so quickly, where that they can start through emotion, but the emotion disappears very quickly as they become habitual, and then it means the treatment process is very different, but both of them will make the pain worse.
A good kind of example would be that she has just begun to get twitchy as a lorry goes past. She's never been a problem at all, walking along the side of the road, never even flinched. She's 1.5 nearly now, and you can just see her beginning to start doing a fear-based, oh, I didn't see that coming, and backing off, and, you know, potentially almost getting to the point that she might pull on the lead to move away. And I can just see, having had a collie before, that I need to nail that before it turns into something, because it's almost like she wants to have an issue. I know they take it on so quickly, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. As soon as you start having any kind of anxiety, so that's sort of thinking there might be a problem, that anticipatory element, that is so difficult for it not to escalate, or escalate so quickly, because if you're worrying about it, then you're already worrying without the stimulus even there. People always talk about how worrying is just a waste of time because nothing bad's actually happening at that moment, which is great to say, but it doesn't ever stop you actually worrying.
I've started taking treats out of me, so that every time we see, if I can preempt and we can make a positive situation out of that wind, that noise, that brushing kind of like sensation, I'm just trying to nip it in the bud before it turns into an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to condition the emotional response the other way. So it's the complete opposite of the postman. If the postman equals my legs really hurt, we can get lorries equal treats come out. So that it becomes it's a positive conditioned emotional response, whereas the postman gets a negative conditioned emotional response. So it's still emotional, it's not habitual, but it has been conditioned. Lots of long words to explain what we just
but it
about.
Just one of the things that I love about doing these audios with different people, being Facebook Lives on audio, is I hope it enables people to realize that this one disease has so much complexity to it. it's not just arthritis. We're diving into a world of behaviour, because if we understand behaviour better, we can understand the disease better and how to manage it. So no, I think it's fantastic. Thank you very much again for your time today. So CAM followers, that was clip number 4, I believe. We're going to come back for one more. So hang on fire, and we'll see you tomorrow.